Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Before I go to sleep tonight, just want to crank out another video. And I know what some of you are thinking. You might be thinking, how do I crank out so many videos? And one of the reasons I'm able to do so is because a lot of the thoughts I'm sharing with you are thoughts I had maybe like 10 to 15 years ago. And it's like some sort of disappointment that I had in my mind that I just could not believe. And it's always carried with me inside my heart since then. And I share it with you all, and I in the hopes that maybe some of you will resonate. Okay, and one of the things that's always been disappointing to me is that every time I find out like cool ideas and I share them with other people in real life, they don't really seem to care, right? And I always assume, and maybe because I always like to assume like the best of other people, is that they have something much cooler in their life than what I'm talking about, right? So when I first learned about velocity banking, like 2017, I wanted to share it with other people, like, oh, like this, look at this strategy. It's called velocity banking. And one of the reasons I never made a YouTube channel until now, or until maybe like 2023, which is about like almost 8 months ago, was because people would give me like a dead reception to like what I was talking about, and then it just seems like they never cared. And so I thought I just like, well, this is stupid, and did I just waste my money on some educational courses that maybe was a scam? I thought at the time. And the reason I talk about this is because I recently talked to someone, a prospect, who was thinking about joining the group, and he had great success with velocity banking, and he felt kind of weird sharing it with other people because they might be having like financial problems, but it seems like they might not be receptive to the message, right? And again, I'm pretty sure if you hear me talk, you heard me say many, many times I used to make like 20 grand a month, not a month, a year, so which is about 1,600 a month. And I learned velocity banking when I was like dead broke, right? So I learned at a time when I couldn't even like use it because you need money and you need some credit. You know what I'm saying? It's a debt payoff strategy. And when you're broke, almost no one's going to lend you money. You know what I'm saying? So again, so why am I talking about this? Is because I always thought when I shared the strategy and I get like a cricket like reception, you know, where it's just like nobody really cares. I just thought that you had something, the people I was talking about had something really awesome going on in their lives, which is why they don't want to look into it with me. And I eventually just came to the conclusion that they're really depressed and they just stop caring in life, right? That's the only conclusion that I've come to. And it's kind of sad that I always like assume the best of people just so that like I can live my life and not feel guilty about like my success. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, if paying off 25% of your mortgage in a year doesn't impress you, like you must have some really cool stuff going on in your life. I always love to think positively about other people, you know? And the sad part is I know they don't do anything and they just kind of gave up on themselves, right? I think the biggest difference between me and other people is that even though I'm like not the most hardworking person on earth, I just don't really give up on myself. There's been a lot of people in my life who've tried to like insult me, waste my time, tell me I have no life experience, so I shouldn't try. And it was really hurtful because I was like, "Aren't you my like one of my close friends? And aren't you like one of the people that I'm sharing my so-called secrets like velocity banking to? Um, because I literally want you to succeed so that we can learn and grow together, right?" And long time ago, I used to play like video games hardcore, right? I was addicted to fighting games, and one of the games that I love playing was Street Fighter. And one of the main tenets of the storyline was that Ryu, the main character, he's always looking for his best friend Ken to spar and partner with him so that he can level up, right? He's a warrior who lives for the journey. And one of the things that was like the biggest disappointment in my life is that I did not have Ken, that partner to level me up. Because every time I want to share something cool, people just kind of like stare at me and then they kind of ignore what I said. And it's like, what the is this? And this is kind of why I created the YouTube channel, believe it or not, because like I was looking at Fantastic when I was like, dang, people still care about velocity banking. And then I realized that the people that you've grown up with are a completely different demographic than random strangers. So I don't know if you ever heard the saying that you're never a prophet in your hometown. Like you ever heard that? Like you're not. And it took me a long time to figure out like, oh my goodness, like if I talk to random strangers, uh they'll want to be, not everybody, but a good number of them will be a part of whatever I have to share. In fact, I got an email today asking, yeah, I don't know what, I always like to book introductory meetings, but the person replied, "Do I have to be Korean?" I'm not Korean. I'm like, "No, you don't have to be Korean." But the fact that the person is like cognizant and wants to be part of this and is a total random stranger, yet I can't get anybody in my like real life to do anything is kind of like, I don't know. I just never would have thought that that would have been my life. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that sometimes like you try to help people and you try to inspire the people that are around you, and the sad part is they gave up on themselves a long time ago. And I'm talking about it doesn't even matter what age they are. They could be like in their teens, they could be in like, their 40s or 50s. It doesn't matter. Most people gave up on themselves a long time ago. And that's why when you talk to them about some inspirational stuff, they tried their best to ignore it, right? And I'm going to tell you a story of someone who I wanted to mentor. I kind of did, right? But all right, so there's this person who I because here's the thing, I had not bought my first house in real estate yet, and like I said, I'm looking for my partner Ken, right? I'm looking for that sparring partner who's going to help me level me up. So same thing with real estate. Real estate is not a solo sport; it's a team sport, right? So I was trying to look for someone younger than me who has more energy to help me find houses, and I actually paid that person, right? I actually paid that person similar to what would be like a wholesale fee. I say, here, help me like write a bunch of letters. I'll tell you where to get them, and we'll get some phone calls and we'll buy a house. And you know what's funny? That was the first house I bought at like $100,000 discount, and I was like really excited. And you know what happened? That person just wanted more money from me, so that um, you know, that person was like, I want to buy a $600 a month antidepressant medication. I'm like, what the f? You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, you didn't listen to anything I said, and you don't even care that I'm able to. We did this really cool thing that most people will never ever do in their lives, and like, I I was just like, man, just another disappointment in my life, isn't it? Right? Don't want to learn about, you don't want to do keep continuing. You just want that small little check because you fall in love with the money. You're not seeing love. You're not falling. You're not seeing the big picture. And but that's everybody, right? Well, not everybody, but the people that I've talked to, and just nobody sees the big picture. And when I was like making, in poverty level wages, $20,000 a year, I just never gave up on myself. Maybe it took a little bit longer than I expected, but I never like thought to myself like, "Oh my goodness, like I give up and I'm just going to block out any idea that someone presents to me." And again, I've known about velocity banking since 2017, and I really should have just gone full blown like I got to share this knowledge back then. And the reason that I never did is because I shared it with the people around me and they just kind of like ignored me. And I just thought that that's how the rest of the world thought about it. And it took me a long time to realize, oh my goodness, like you have to be that stronghold, that leader who just pushes the message every single day and not in your own experiences, because again, there are people who are out there actively looking to for the message that you're going to push out, whether it's velocity banking, your thoughts about society and culture, your leadership, all that. But it's hard because the whole world is like it's like people are putting this illusion that they got all these things going on, and then when you uncover what is going on with them, they're just living life in this destitute and desperate manner without any hope, and they gave up. But I'm just thinking, like, how have you given up on yourselves? You're only like 18. You know what I'm saying? You got this whole life ahead of you, and I'm trying to teach you um all this cool stuff that most people will never do at a lifetime. Like, who's gonna buy a house under market value at $100,000 discount? Most people, like, you look at statistics, 93% of the people regret buying a home in 2023. That's because they didn't buy it at $100,000 discount. And that's the thing too. One of the reasons why I just focus on like YouTube and velocity banking is because that's something I can easily do myself. But real estate investing, I gotta find other people to do it with. I gotta find people who I'm masterminding with, or who give me the energy to want to find houses so we can all celebrate. But if I'm surrounded by people who just want more money so they can buy antidepressants, it's like that ain't gonna motivate me. And I'm just like, dang, maybe I'll just stay home and make YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people around you really do make a difference, and people would like to do this thing where like they're in the same room as you, and then they pretend that you don't exist. It's really weird how they do that, and then they wonder why like their life is in shambles. You have to, it's kind of like how Marge Simpson said back in the day in The Simpsons, that you are part of a community, right? You have roots in this place. But most people don't like to think that way. They want to think that they're just an individual who has um, no purpose in life, and they have no connection to the people around them. It's crazy how that works. And then when someone presents them like a good idea, or an idea that can help them, like velocity banking or whatever it is. I mean, the only reason why people seem to come to this channel is because of velocity banking, at least for now. They just kind of ignore it. But the cool thing about YouTube, at least like the one positive, is that the people who are looking for you have to actively look for you, right? All right. Well, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Just a little diatribe about my experiences, about why it's so hard to find people who are going to motivate you, because most people just kind of gave up on themselves a long time ago, right? Like, I never really gave up on myself, and the thing is that every time I do something amazing, I just feel like I gotta keep it quiet. I mean, one of the reasons why I don't really show my face and kind of keep myself anonymous is that I just don't want the effect of me being excited, sharing my successes, and then having to realize that the people around me don't care, right? So if just to kind of emotionally protect myself, I like to share my experiences, but I don't want the audience to know like if I'm real or not, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. If it does, it's probably because I'm sleepy. But anyways, all right. Well, that's the end of this video for today. If you're interested in joining our group and learning about financial literacy and real estate investing, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Um, Other than that, did you resonate with what I said, or is it just me, or maybe I'm crazy, right? But let me know in the comments below. Other than that, have a great day, and I'll speak next time.